It's loading.
Yeah, we are live.
Wonderful, we're live. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you. My name is Juli Simond. I am in charge of all things communications and community management here at Sphera. And with me today is the wonderful Martina Di Pirro, who is the editorial coordinator at Sphera. And we have with us as well the also lovely Anne Billoët, who works at Multimedia, our partner podcast agency. And today we're basically just going to answer a few questions about the project, who we are, what we aim to do. And let us know if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section and we'll be able to see them and get to them as well. First, I will start by playing our launch video, as we launched just almost 2 weeks ago now, and we're very excited. And for this video, we asked Gen Z what the future was about, because we really wanted to hear from young voices who really are going to carry the future forward and who are having all sorts of thoughts and feelings about the kind of world that they want to live in and the kind of world that they want to live behind.
Le futur, c'est prendre en compte la parole des minorités et se rendre compte que le monde n'est pas réservé qu'aux blancs.
Najważniejsze w przyszłości jest urzeczywistnianie swoich planów i marzeń.
Zukunft ist, wenn die gläserne Decke endlich durchbrochen werden kann und es gleiche Chancen für alle gibt.
Per me il futuro è successo, pace, felicità.
Zukunft ist, wenn wir nicht mehr darüber reden müssen, dass homosexuelle Männer vom Blutspendeverbot ausgeschlossen werden.
El futuro va de salarios dignos para los jóvenes.
Per me il futuro è riuscire a viaggiare il mondo e conoscere altre culture.
The future is when my intersectional identity is fully embraced and accepted in our society.
El futuro es trabajar para que no sean las empresas las que determinen nuestra precariedad.
Przyszłość to coś, co nie wszyscy będziemy mieli i miały ze względu na pogarszający się stan naszej planety.
Le futur, c'est l'économie circulaire.
The future is about hope, opportunity and a better place for our children.
Hello, we're back. That was our wonderful launch video that we're very proud of, that really showed a very diverse range of answers to the question of what the future is about. And it was very exciting to get this kind of input, especially at the beginning of the project, to help us kind of shape the topics that we want to talk about in order to engage young Europeans on the topics that affect all of us, really. So let's begin with a question that I'm going to ask Martina. So Martina, for our new audience members, could you explain what Sphera is in a few sentences?
Yes. First of all, hi, everybody, and thanks, Julie and Anne, for having me here. I'm really excited. Sphera is the very first decentralized hub for, alternative media all across Europe. It means that we have a newsroom from remote, and Sphera is also made up of 10 independent media organizations in order to engage young people about European and cross-border topics that affect them. So, this is who we are.
And what a great identity.
Is it?
So I'm going to ask you the second question, Martina, if you're still down to answer. Maybe we can discuss it.
Yes, I am.
So, what would be the main themes Sphera would be about? How did you choose them? Do you have some?
Well, basically, as I told you, the idea of Sphera is trying to cover all the topics that young people care about the most, but actually not just young people. I mean, our audience is young people, but also we ourselves of our generation. We really care about some European topics that still needs to be discussed. So our main themes are ecological transition, mobility, digital tech, migration, economy, inequality and discrimination, future of work, and culture. So as you can see, there's lots of them. We're trying to deal with them every day, trying to be concentrated on European main issues and topics.
Okay, nice. So you're playing between these 8 topics. How are, which is the topic you have most?
Actually, we try to rotate the topics. It means that each partner and each media partner we are working with, they are trying to deal each week with one different topic. Okay, so we try to cover all of them every week. And I think this is one of the added value of Sphera, having, all the themes rotating. We can talk about a lot of different stuff, embracing a lot of points of views. So we can have a vision of the very same thing, but, all across Europe. So yes, this is what we are trying to do, at least from the beginning.
Great. Apologies for my slight absence there. My internet decided to cut out, which is a very Brussels thing to happen where I'm currently
we
based.
are at Sphera, we are really famous for not having good connection. Sometimes we just disappear and reappear again, but we're dealing with it, so no problem.
Yes, that's one of the things about having a remote newsroom where everything has to happen on Zoom.
Yes,
that some people are not always able to be there.
Yeah.
Our next question is a bit more general, but also very important, kind of ideologically for Sphera. Why do we need more cross-border video journalism in the first place? And what is it about Sphera's mission to use these new formats that's so important, especially right now in 2021?
Well, I think that first of all, collaborative journalism is the future of journalism. So we felt that this was the urgency of our mission, to engage young people, to engage them in cross-border issues and topics, and also to, make journalism a bit more collaborative and not competitive, okay? Because in order to survive, I really do believe that we need to be collaborative, both in journalism way and also in biological way. So we really need to be a whole and work together in order to face some issue of our time. So it works for human beings, and it also works for journalism. So this is why one of the reasons why Sphera was born, to be more collaborative and embracing topics from all across Europe, and not, having the idea we know everything, but that we do need to talk with people who have different point of view and a different way of working. And yeah, I think this is it.
Yeah,
I'm trying to be brief because I know that we don't have so much time, but I would like to talk with you like a lot more. So.
But I completely understand and agree with what you were saying. I think that it very much falls in the theme of solidarity, especially after everything that's happened globally for the pandemic, and especially in Europe, to kind of reach across borders and try to create something together so that we don't feel such a division.
Yeah, and I do believe also that in what you said, there is also this feeling of maybe every country being like so focused on themselves and their own national stuff, and always forgetting like what their neighbors are into, never talking about it.
Absolutely, I do agree with you guys. I think that's another added value of Sphera, connecting all people and try not to feel alone, dealing with the same topics. So we are human beings. I mean, all of us. So
that's beautiful. Yeah. I feel like I'm hearing the song True Color. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely, Anne. Yes.
Okay, then I have maybe another question for you, Martina, which would be, who are, and you have to reply well to this one, who are the partner medias, Bulle Media, involved in the Sphera, and what is the common thread uniting them? Like, what is uniting all these partners Bulle Media is into?
Okay, our network is made up of 10 independent media partners, media organization. So we have, well, I'll try to be brief because describing 10 of us is really, really hard in few minutes, but I'll try in any case. We ourselves as Café Bubble, which is a French not-for-profit organization editing Café Bubble, which is the first online multilingual European magazine. Then we have Are We Europe, that Juli is a part of, which is if I'm not wrong, Juli, the Dutch not-for-profit organization, and it's a pan-European media focusing on border-breaking story. Then we have, of course, Bulle Media, which is a which is the European agency dedicated to podcasting. Then we have RT40, which is a not-for-profit organization that creates creative projects, actually focusing on youth and innovation mainly. Then we have Dinamo, which is an Italian web agency specialized in video production and social media marketing, which is responsible of editing our pan-European videos. And then we have the media partner themselves, which are responsible of producing the video you are seeing right now in the amazing social media channels of Sphera, which is El Salto from Spain, Street Press from France, L'Inchiesta from Italy, Outriders from Poland, and Metropole from Austria. Tell me if I forgot someone. I hope not, but I count them and they are 10. So I think I mentioned them. As you can see, what is uniting them? Well, they are all dealing with journalism in some way. I mean, journalism is not something that can be just related with, or articles or stuff like that. Journalism is moving forward. We really need more, more audiovisual material in order to, to keep this kind of work of journalism going forward and forward all the time. So we need to keep up. We need to keep up also with the new generation coming. They are always, they're using social media, different channels that we are not, that we are trying to deal with actually, and we cannot do it alone. Neither we as Cafe Bible, nor are we Europe or Bulle Media. We needed some other partners in order to, have all the point of views that are missing. So this is what is uniting us. Just, stay focused on be collaborative, make journalism moving a bit forward, and trying to talk to Gen Z, but not just Gen Z, also Gen Y, and well, actually our generation too, because I don't know what you think, guys, but some content, I don't want to sound too, self-centered, but some content that we are producing, I think they're really, really cool and interesting, even for, older people. I mean, me, myself, I'm 33. And I am actually really, really interested in what we are publishing. I mean, we are delivering some content that are really interesting, and that makes you want to, just knowing more and more about that subject and that topic. So I think this is part of our mission. I don't know if I was clear enough.
Absolutely, I think you were very, very clear, and I think you've highlighted some really interesting points in that the conception of Sphera may have initially been guided by, Gen Z and new formats and the new ways that we can reach young people, with all these different formats and different apps and social media. But at the end of the day, this is not an exclusive thing where suddenly there's only certain age groups on certain types of social media, and therefore the content can very much expand beyond that. And I think that's really a value that we have. Another thing that I like to mention is that an exciting partnership we've created, it's not with a media partner organization per se, but we have a flagship podcast that we've partnered with called The Europeans. They have a weekly podcast show that comes out every Thursday, and their hosts, Dominic and Katie, are very cool, very smart, very funny as well. And they talk about all sides of Europe, all different aspects. And they do really, really great interviews with some very interesting people who have a lot of expertise to share with us, which I really enjoy. And they are creating, as part of their weekly show, some extra content for Sphera, which I'm very excited about. And the latest episode was about cheese diplomacy, talking about halloumi in Cyprus, which was very interesting and quite surprising, as I didn't know much about the topic. So to move on,
very cool.
Yes, they are. To move on for our next question, as you might have noticed from our wonderful launch video that we played at the beginning, it was in multiple languages, 6 languages, in fact. So the question, of course, which I revealed the answer to already, is how many languages is Sphera published in, and why did we choose to go down that road to publish content in 6 different languages?
Well, I will start answering your second question, why we choose to go down that road, because we are crazy. No, I mean, I'm just kidding. Okay, 6 languages, yes, you said it, but actually, we are trying to build a roster of freelancers all across Europe, trying to cover all the other languages that are missing. So, for instance, we have upcoming content in Greek, and in Portuguese, which are not like the main 6 languages of Sphera, which are, by the way, Italian, Polish, Spanish, English, French, and German. Okay, these are actually the main language spoken in Europe, but I mean, we don't want to be exclusive. We just have this kind of partner, but actually, by building the roster of freelancers, our main idea is to, have possibly one freelancer from each state of Europe. So this is our dream team, so we can manage to cover all the language that still are missing in Sphera, but we are just at the beginning, so we will have all the time to do it, and we are already doing it. So yes, why we choose to go down the road? Well, yes, because we were trying to cover all the thing about Europe, and we believe that only people who live in that country can actually, tell their country. So I think, yes, this is also one added value of Sphera. Not just English, but also, be open-minded, learn other languages, and learn other culture. And language is a part of a culture.
Absolutely. And I think it really is a hallmark of our digital journalism age that we have access to so many tools that are allowing us to also have the subtitles in each different language. So it's not just about how the video is produced, it's actually about how we diffuse it as well. And we have subtitles in, as I said, all the languages, which is a lot of work, but also very exciting in terms of how accessible we can make our content, not just for people who speak different languages, but for people who are impaired with their hearing as well.
Yeah, and like I know our generation is like kind of connected to Netflix, and loads of people are so into like foreign TV series and stuff, like Valeria, las series, and like Spanish and stuff. And I was one of those people, and I love to have like videos of Sphera popping up on my personal account with like an English speaker talking about, I don't know, like an actual subject, which like reverberates in more than 5 European countries, and I feel included in it, but it's in Spanish. So I'm like, yeah, Spanish.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it will be really, really great to know how the newsroom work. Maybe we can do it sometimes, Julie, because this thing that you just said is actually the keyword of Sphera, which is accessible. Make it accessible. I really liked it when you say it. So yeah, I really do agree with all you guys said.
It's like, it's so cool to have like this accessibility that we don't use. You know what I mean? We're all the time on our smartphones, but we speak our own language with the own people we know from our own city. And Sphera is the opportunity to actually find out that a subject like catcalling, which is like something that marked me when I saw the video popping up on Sphera accounts. It is something that actually more than one country or city just know, you know what I mean? And that's
unfortunately it's global.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's global, but fortunately, we are able now to share it with other people in other countries. Thanks, Sphera.
Yeah, and also working as a team. I think one of the added value of Sphera is working as a team. I mean, it doesn't matter if you come from Cafe Bubble or Bulle Media or Are We Europe or Outriders, we really do work as a team. And it's not easy to build a team like ours. I mean, we are all from different countries. We have all different ideas. Sometimes they are completely opposite, and we have to find a compromise. I mean, this is a challenge and an exercise which I think it's really, really worth to do. So yeah, this is what Sphera is about, actually.
Yeah, congrats
to us, to all
of us.
So next question, Martina, maybe. So you seem to know loads about like every step of Sphera. What is your specific role in it?
Well, actually, I am the editorial coordinator of Sphera, which means that each content concerning videos mainly, well, I have to supervise it and to coordinate all the media partners that we have. I am not alone in doing it. I have this specific task, but I have an amazing team with me. One is our head of content, which is Alexander Damiano-Ricci, which I know for a long time. I'm really happy to work with him. And Francesca Festa, which is our head of projects. So those two people are the really heads of Sphera, meaning that they picture Sphera in their head and then they wrote it down, and they have, all the knowledge of Sphera, the real knowledge of Sphera comes from Francesca and Alexander. So I'm really grateful to work with them. I just coordinate the editorial part and the editorial videos that you are seeing. I imagine why a video should be published in this specific week and why it shouldn't be published in this specific week, but maybe the next one. I held each Monday, if I'm not wrong, yes, each Monday, an editorial meeting with all the partners. So this is what Remote Newsroom is all about, having editorial meeting and private chat all the time in order to coordinate ourselves. So yes, this is and managing what Julie said before, the hardest part, managing the subtitles workflow. Because yes, being published in 6 different languages really makes the workflow a bit harder than the normal one. So we are trying to deal with that. Hopefully we are doing a great job for being, it's just the beginning. So we will definitely get better, but we are on our way. So yeah. Sorry for not being brief, but I try to answer specifically. And sorry, Francesca and Alexander, if you are seeing us.
No, I think it's a wonderful description, and I think that you might have downplayed the importance of your role a little bit, Martina. You are very, very much a central cog in this machine. We absolutely could not do it without you. Now I'd like to move on to another question, which is a question I find actually really, really interesting and quite relevant to this digital day and age and the kind of new trends happening with Gen Z and in media. And the question is, of course, is TikTok just a hype? And what makes you think that TikTok journalism might have a future? Thinking about this platform, this format, and what specifically is challenging for us about TikTok, and what is also exciting? What can we delve into that we haven't been able to before with certain types of social media or ways of diffusing video content?
Well, I would like to share this question with you, Julie, actually, because since you are our social media queen, I would like to share this question also with you, because myself, personally, not Sphera concerning, at the beginning, I was just like, why do we have to use TikTok? I was one of those boomer, maybe, who didn't believe that TikTok was a way to, do some journalism. Well, actually, Sphera taught me that it is not true, that I was indeed a boomer, that I have to, think bigger and think out of the box. TikTok is one of the main social media platforms that young people use to express themselves and also to communicate. So instead of using it to say, facts that aren't true, or, spreading some news that are not complete, at least let's try to use TikTok in order to get more in-depth information, and also be creative, because our TikTok formats are really creative and we really work on them, and there is a thought behind each format that is published. So I really, really started to like TikTok and to believe that TikTok is not just a hype, but it's also a way to do some serious journalism and some serious cross-border journalism. You just have to change your language, and you just have to change the way you communicate your topic and your stuff, but it's always an in-depth tool that you can use. And yeah, that's my point of view, but I would really like to know what Julie thinks about this.
Well, then I will tell you what I think. I've been thinking about it more and more recently because I'm not very old. I'm 25, so I'm still young, but I'm old enough to remember things like Vine. And Vine for me was one of the first very, very short format things that really impressed me for its capacity to set a time limit and force people to be concise. And I think that's something that's really, really valuable. And I know we talk a lot about young people having no attention span, but I mean, this is not a product of young people themselves. This is a product of growing up in a digital world where everything's changing all the time. And, you know, what you're exposed to is what shapes how your brain works. So I won't get too deep into it, but I think that all these things come together for a reason. But I think TikTok is a particularly interesting format because it's something that was created not by, you know, obviously it is created by a corporation, but it wasn't created by the news media. It was mainly co-opted by young people to create their own formats first. And a really good way to do outreach for young people and to speak to them basically in their language and not send them a stuffy article that's 20 pages long and written in a very academic language, is to talk to them in their language, their digital language. And I think that's one of the really exciting things about TikTok. And I think it's really exciting for journalistic purposes just because we can actually reach the kind of audience and get the conversations started that are really, really important, because there's so many topics that affect us all and so many different things that deserve to be spoken about. And if we can find a way to fit ourselves into what is working for young people, I absolutely would never see a problem with that. I think that's actually really exciting. And do you have any thoughts?
No, I do agree with both of you. It's speed, dynamic, interesting, and free-spirited. Maybe it's like very interesting because you can see that young people were more committed to their life than what you could have thought also on TikTok.
Yeah, absolutely. I do agree with you, Anne. Thanks, guys, for sharing your thoughts with us.
Of course, and thank you. We've got a little bit of time left. We were going to keep this quite short, quite dynamic as well, kind of like a really long TikTok, if you will. So I just have a few more questions. One of them is generally, when was the last time that you felt, quote unquote, European or truly European? What is an experience you can remember that made you feel European?
Okay, I don't want to sound too Sphera-centered, but it is true. I really felt European during our first kickoff meeting. We were like, I don't know how many of us, and for the very first time, I had the feeling of what Sphera will be about, sharing thoughts, basically sharing thoughts, ideas, and having very nice talks with very, very smart people from all across Europe. And I felt like part of a big family, not just, something you have to work for, but it was something that you have to work with. I don't know if you can get the difference between working for and working with. And I don't know if in English it sounds like it is in my head, my Italian head. But I believe that the very last time that I felt European is in our first kickoff meeting in March. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I think that was the time. What was your time, guys? Anne?
Mine was, it's going to be a personal story.
Okay.
We love personal stories.
I used to, like have relationships in my life, friendly, more than friendly, stuff like that. And it was when the more than friendly relationship was with a Londoner when UK was in Europe. And that was just so nice to think like, okay, I want to see my boyfriend. I just have to take a bus ticket because Eurostar,
So it's expensive.
You never know if you get there.
Exactly. So it's just like, it was just so easy to think on a Friday night, okay, this weekend I have nothing planned. Why shouldn't I just take the bus, cross a frontier, cross a sea even, and go and check on my boyfriend? And that was like nicest experience to be European, because you don't have to pay your fees every time.
And then Brexit.
Yeah, we broke up before. We were planning to.
Julie, what was your time?
I don't know if this was necessarily the last time that I felt it, but it is very much to do with what you said, Anne, generally about space, about everything being quite close together in great expanses of space. I remember I moved to Australia when I was maybe 19, so it was actually quite a while ago, but I remember being very, very shocked by the sheer amount of space and the fact that to get from one big city to the next, you actually had to take an 11-hour train, for example, and just go through just massive hours and hours and hours in expanses of countryside, whereas I am natively from Switzerland, and drive a couple hours in any direction and you have left the country. That's just how it works. So I felt very, very impressed by the amount of space, and then also very upset that I didn't have my driver's license, because I'd never really felt the need, which I think must be a relatively common European thing, depending on where you live, if you live more of a kind of city life like I have.
Okay, great.
And our final question, just the cherry on top of this little Q&A cake, is what's a story that you would really want Sphera to cover? A story, a topic, can be vague, can be specific, but what's something you'd like to see us do?
Well, there is actually one word that is really used within Europe, which is ecological transition. Now everybody say that. Everybody. I don't know if you read sometimes, reading the news or, television, they all talk about ecological transition, climate, and everything related to this ecological transition. I'm not quite sure that we really do get the meaning of ecological transition and what does it mean for us, that it's not just, a big word, but it's something that also affects our daily life. And I would really like that Sphera can explain what ecological transition really means for all of us, how it will affect our daily life, our daily routine, that it's just not something that, the president of the European Commission is talking about, or our own, national governments are talking about, but how does it affect our life, our daily lives? So yes, I think that's the story and the topic that I would like to cover with Sphera, and trying to not just to explain it to our audience, but also to understand it even more, even myself. I mean, I'm not quite sure I get the word correctly. I mean, I don't want to have answers. I want to find some other questions, maybe. I don't know if I answer correctly. But
no, I've completely understood, and I do agree. I think that it's definitely something worth diving into, especially because it's very much in the public sphere, in people's ideas and in people's thoughts, and also being spoken about a lot in the media. But I think it's worth doing a very, very deep dive. If we can find a way to fit that into a TikTok format, that would be a real feat.
Yeah.
Anne, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I have ideas to support your TikTok format on ecological transitions.
Amazing. Cool. We can workshop
Great.
this.
No, I'm more into gender inequalities and minorities and stuff. So I'm so glad Sphera started this long work of just furnishing people culture to just bridge differences, bridge what makes someone unequal to another, and just start raising new generation. Like, you're 16, you're on your phone because, I don't know, you don't have enough parties yet. I don't know, but you spend some nights on your phone, and you find yourself being educated without wanting to by spending time on social media. And that's absolutely lovely.
Sphera's social media. Plugging it. Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that ties into a little bit of what I want to see us cover, which is we have so much time And that's a really beautiful thing, is that we have so much time and we have these themes that we want to look at. And I think what I would really like to see us do is be able to dive deep enough to see all the differences within a certain theme or topic or a certain experience. So, not just presenting, this is the experience of migration, but saying this is one experience and this is another experience. And we have so much time to delve into all these different, the way that different identities intersect and the way that different experiences can be lived by different people, especially across the continent. So I'm really excited for the opportunity this presents to, showcase just so many different voices. And I think that's really, really exciting. And it's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I do agree with both of you guys. Thanks again.
Well, thank you both. I think that's about time for the end of our little Q&A. We hope that we've answered some of your questions. If not all, please feel free to hit us up across all social media channels. We are Sphera Now on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. So please follow us, reach out to us. We're always here to answer any questions, and we are definitely 100% interested in all forms of input, no matter who you are, no matter what you think. So please reach out. And I'd really like to thank Anne for joining us, and Martina as well. It's been a real pleasure. Oh, beautiful. I don't know if I'm doing it the right way or this way. Sphera forever.
Yeah, Sphera.
Thank you guys for having me.
Have a nice night.
Have a good night, everyone. Bye.